Hey, how y'all doing? This is Mongo Slade, and today we're going to talk about Shinsuke Nakamura versus Otis. So, essentially what happened is Otis defeated Shinsuke Nakamura in a match that was about 3 minutes. Um, it featured Otis basically hulking up as Shinsuke kind of kicked him in the chest. Shinsuke kind of laid those kicks in too, but the match is building, of course, off their storyline with Chad Gable and Otis and Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. So, after he had Shinsuke Nakamura beat, he was going to go for the Caterpillar. Chad Gable was like, no, do the suplex, and which basically changed Otis's mind. Of course, it's supposed to trigger you into thinking that Otis is about to lose. Otis, of course, ends up hitting the suplex, hits a Vader bomb on Shinsuke Nakamura, pins him 1, 2, 3, and then after the match, Chad Gable is talking to Otis, and he says, "Don't do what I say, do what I mean." Like, he said, and Otis of course doesn't understand, and Chad Gable like, you'll get it. Here, just hydrate yourself. So, of course, that's cool. I like Otis and Chad Gable. I'm enjoying what they're doing. Chad Gable is trying to sabotage Otis. It's pretty clear that he's trying to hold Otis down, or he's trying to manipulate Otis. It's very difficult to tell, but we need some more time with them in order to get there. But the crux of this video is the response of people once again crying for Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, at some point in this past year, I've made so many videos because I just sit down and talk so much. But one of my videos, I'm gonna put it in the description. It was called "Don't Cry for Shinsuke." Essentially, he had a good push when he first started. He won the Royal Rumble in his first year. I know a lot of people were like, oh no, he beat John Cena and Randy Orton within his first few months. So he got a super push right out of the gate. Now the Jinder Mahal, that was kind of a stumble, but they were pushing Mahal at the time. So it doesn't really matter. If you can't lose to the champion, you can't lose to anybody. So at this point, you had a guy who hadn't been losing that much, and then he gets to the match at WrestleMania with AJ Styles. The match wasn't that good. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that good. It was just kind of there. But then the subsequent feud with AJ Styles, which I thought was not that bad. But a lot of people are just, everything's terrible, everything's bad because he didn't win the title immediately. I've said it on this channel numerous times, but Shinsuke Nakamura has had a title every single year that he was in WWE. Every year. He won the Royal Rumble in his first year, multiple time Intercontinental Champion, multiple time United States Champion, multiple time Tag Team Champion. This is probably the worst looking loss that he's ever taken. As far as losing and not really, I mean, he still looked competitive, but Otis is being pushed and Shinsuke isn't. Shinsuke Nakamura is 40. He beat his body to shit in Japan. He is on vacation, essentially. He is on a very high-paid vacation, and everybody who's ever watched him knows this. Okay, if you watch Shinsuke Nakamura in New Japan, you know that he's got a lot more in the tank. Now, I think he does kind of want to do more, but he might be in the Carlito mode, where if they're not going to give him the responsibility, he's just kind of going to coast. But you're talking about somebody who is English second language. He can't give you a long promo. They gave him a run. They gave him several runs with the with top guys. Mahal, Styles. They gave him some runs. They haven't been abusing him like people think they are. But I can agree that he's not going anywhere anytime soon. He's not going to be the WWE champion anytime soon. So the idea that you need to feel sorry for a guy who is as decorated as Shinsuke Nakamura, and who WWE clearly likes, because they keep doing stuff with him. He's all over the place. He's constantly doing media for them. He's constantly, again, to keep titles on him. It is an important thing that also, when you consider that they're trying to push younger talent, it's unfortunate that Nakamura jumped ship at 36 or something like that. Same thing with Robert Roode. So you can say the same thing. Robert Roode jumped ship too late. When you jump ship in your mid-30s, very few people are going to get that big push in your mid-30s. Very few people. Okay? So, having gotten as much as he did, I'm actually kind of impressed at this Shinsuke Nakamura run. Now, is it coming to an end? As far as Are we looking at the Nakamura's contract running out and then him getting shipped to AEW or whatever? It's like I don't know, and I don't really think about stuff like that. I don't care. But I will say this, and I love Shinsuke Nakamura, I really do. But he doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't. He doesn't. Nakamura put forth A+ effort one time in the entire time he's been in the United States. A+ effort once. And that was the match against Sami Zayn in NXT, which is the one match everyone talks about. Oh, he was so good in NXT. You only talk about the one match. What about all those other matches that he had with Samoa Joe? Those matches weren't all that good. Are you going to blame Samoa Joe for those? Because Samoa Joe had great matches after that. Nakamura didn't. Okay, so it's for me. I don't blame the guy. He got over in his home country where it matters. But this is his this is a money run. He's just cashing it. Everyone knows he's just here to surf, dog. I mean, this idea that we're just gonna constantly complain every time he loses a match is it's ridiculous because nobody cares when he wins a match. And then we could also talk about certain things. He dropped John Cena on his head, but that was before he wrestled Jinder Mahal, by the way. The Jinder Mahal match was kind of clunky, but Jinder can't really work. I mean, that's not Nakamura's fault, and that I can't even call Nakamura lazy. I mean, Mahal is a little bit of a guy on stilts, but he was the champion. So you have to be able to work with the champion. Whatever skill level the champion is, you have to be able to work with him. Hell, Brett couldn't argue with Yokozuna. Yokozuna was a big guy. You had to be able to work with the guy. When Diesel was the champion, Brett had to work with him. You got to be able to work with the champion. The champion got to be able to work with you. So, but I just don't get why people are still weeping over Shinsuke Nakamura. It's like you want them to push young guys, but then when they do, you complain that they burying the older guys, and then you push the older guys and you claim, oh, they have no faith in the young guys, and then it's only some young guys that they won't push, not others, and then there's some older guys they won't push, not others, and it's like, neckbeards online are not the audience. I keep saying that, neckbeards online are not the audience, man. It's unfortunate. But you singing Shinsuke Nakamura's theme song and not putting money in Vince McMahon's pockets. He wants money in his pockets. You should have bought the t-shirts. You should have watched the show when he was on it. You should have bought the pay-per-views when he was on it. If you didn't do that, if you complained and was like, I canceled my network subscription, then guess what? You cost the company money, and that's why they depushed the guy. That's your fault. And I love Shinsuke Nakamura, I really do. But I'm on a tip where I know that everybody's going to have different levels of success depending on where they go. Nakamura is not in Japan anymore. He pretty much has to start over, and he didn't. He decided, hey, I'm just going to be Shinsuke Nakamura in the United States, and that's fine. It's working. He can get over, but it's not going to be to the degree that WWE really wants him to. They looking for money in pockets, not people singing theme songs. I don't know why people think that that's all you need to do is chant woo, woo, woo and theme songs. It's like, no, you have to put money in pockets. And yeah, sometimes that happens, the Zack Ryder effect where Zack Ryder was selling a bunch of t-shirts. It's like, also Zack Ryder can't fucking work either. But what about Jinder Mahal? What about him? At least Jinder Mahal looked like a fucking champion. Roided out as he was. At least he looked like one. Zack Ryder looked like a fucking goof. Come on, man. You have to be able to discern that, Zack Ryder was a goofy ass character that wasn't going anywhere, who had no seriousness, no intensity, but was good as what is the word I'm thinking of? Was a projection of the audience. Basically, the audience projected themselves onto Zack Ryder as this underdog babyface. That was great and all, but that's not main event. You have to also have main event mic skills. You also have to have main event work rate. You can't do that. Now, Nakamura has main event work rate for sure. He has the main event charisma, personality, and who knows? He may be 45 when he finally gets there. I'm one of those people that never says never unless you already gone. I can say safely, Ryback will never be WWE champion because he doesn't work there. And he's probably never going back. I mean, that's pretty safe. But just about everybody else, I never say never. Because I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Look at what happened with Becky Lynch. Everyone thought Becky Lynch was being mistreated, and it took, boom, on a dime, Becky Lynch is the top star in the business. You know, it can happen. It can happen for anybody. You have to be, you know, patience is a different road for everybody. Now, I do believe Nakamura will probably, the likelihood of him being WWE champion is low. It's very low. But I'm also kind of shrugging, like, you know, so does he really need to be WWE champion? No. Not everybody needs to get to that level to be successful. He was, you know, still wildly successful in the United States. He made a big splash. He opened the door for, you know, Asuka and Kairi Sane and all of them to come in. You know, there's going to be some more Japanese wrestlers. Kushida just came in. There's going to be another guys coming in over. So he's opened the door for some people, and that's a good thing. You know, he is the most successful Japanese male wrestler in WWE history, other than Antonio Inoki, and who is his mentor, by the way. So I don't see the big problem. You know, when it comes to Japanese male wrestlers, I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of them who wish they had the run Shinsuke Nakamura had, just winning the Royal Rumble alone, being in a top spot at WrestleMania. No other Japanese man has been able to do something like that. No, none. And there's been plenty of Japanese men on WWE's roster. So I think that his ascension and subsequent fall is just a thing where it's wrong place, wrong time. Also, not being able to speak English or speak English that well. And it's just a mixture of different things, but I'm not that upset about it. Also, you know, him not being as motivated as he probably could be. I don't cry for Shinsuke. You shouldn't either. So, thank you guys for listening. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to this channel. If you like what I do, donate to the channel via Cash App. I will appreciate that very much. Thank you again, and I'll talk to you later.